This piece of footage here is terrifying. It's like legitimately and unironically the most chilling thing I've seen in a long time. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Just I think it's important people watch it. It's basically a British cop going to a guy's house to arrest him for something he posts on Facebook. And I think it's, if I'm not wrong, it's in relation to the problems I have in there with the knifing incident. A black guy killed 3 young white girls, and it's finally causing them to get mad. It takes a while for people to get mad about stuff like this, because as long as they can have their fiberglass speedboat and their station wagon, they'll let it roll. It's too bad though that it's like a Muslim thing, because I don't, the Muslims, in light of the 3/11 was an inside job thing, have been painted as this crazy boogeyman, and I just don't believe they are. They can be, certain elements can be, but I think how it turned into Muslims versus Christians is kind of strange, or at least that's how it's being portrayed in the media, and then some of these videos we're seeing too. Now again, I know it's tough for people and people get upset with it, but this is all a show. None of it actually happened, but we have to live in a world where it's being reacted to as if it did. So we kind of have to look at it as if it did happen. And I think that, I don't, if you look at the crime, right, it's, while Muslims have caused problems in their communities, they're not nearly creating the kind of violence, chaos, and crime that just regular Jews in Africa are causing, different parts of that country. That's what it really is. It went from importing black people into white areas. They can't have that narrative. So it's now it's Muslims versus Christians, which is like, no, we don't want to. We have more in common with the Muslims. We certainly have a common enemy who, we really shouldn't be fighting each other. And I don't think they started as one. I mean, I don't think their guy, the person they're using to, or saying committed the acts, I don't know if he is Muslim. That's never been said. But the narrative as it's unfolded, or the story, not the narrative, they're trying to create a narrative that's, fantasy land. But the way it's kind of unfolded is they started protesting, like they're doing in Ireland, and the Muslim community started saying, like, well, why are you attacking our people? I don't think they meant to attack those people. It was just created. We shouldn't. It's the wrong fight. It's the wrong fight. However, there's no reason for anybody, Muslims included, to be in the UK. Like, why are they there? What war are they fleeing from? And if they are, why are they leaving their wives and children in the war zone, and only the men coming over? And I know, there's been a long history of people from the Middle East and Muslims in the UK and in the US, but why? Why can't people just have their own area? God drew out the boundaries. It's in the Bible. And I like to cherry pick things from the Bible that supports my arguments. So there we go. Now, I know it's fantasy, but in a perfect world, as God intended, I would be in Ireland, in a field somewhere. And the Kingdom of Hawaii would be here for Hawaiians. You know, and Africans would be in Africa. Everyone would be in their place where they're genetically more aligned with. Everyone is kind of has developed and is made for their area, and they are the way they are because of the environment they're in, whether it's climate or what, and that's just how it is. A lot of people, like in the case of the African situation, they never would have, if not being brought here or brought wherever they're brought, they wouldn't be getting off that continent. How? You know? They're purposely brought to these places. Why? You know? And none of the reasons are good. And the main one has to do with doing away with people of the light. Real sons of Abraham. People like me. In Ireland, it hasn't developed into at least a storyline so far. It hasn't become a Muslim, versus Christian storyline. Hopefully it doesn't, because that's not the fucking thing. Even though I would say, why would Middle Eastern Muslims be in Ireland? And I know it's like, well, people should be, yeah, but why? Why? What's going on in your place? What's going on in your community? Now, of course, when you look at some of these communities they're coming from, it's like hell on earth in some of these places. Especially Africa, parts of Africa, where a lot of these immigrants are being picked up from and brought to places around the world that are full of people of the light and true sons of Abraham. It's on purpose, right? But their area sucks because it's their, like, they made it that way. There's no great war that's been that's perpetrated by anyone that's chasing them out of there. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Why? It's like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing here? It's just how it is. Everybody should be in their own space. But then we wouldn't have the war and the suffering and all the stuff that our farmers need to have. So, But at any rate, that's a fucking long-winded fucking way of saying, I think the guy was making a comment about the situation. And it was on Facebook. And it wasn't stated that he threatened anybody. Usually, my kind of thing is, you can't threaten people on the internet. But even if you did, you don't expect cops to show up to your house. And I know this kind of thing has been happening in different parts of the world. Germany, over in Eastern Europe, in some places, they've had this kind of thing go on with military police show up at your house for things you posted online. But I don't know. I think he was just commenting on it. So it was like, it was wrong think. Excuse me. Long COVID, that doesn't exist. It's funny, man. I'm watching just a normie podcast, and one of the guests were on there talking about, he's got a cough and everything, and it sounds like he's got a cold. And like, hey, dude, what do you have, COVID? And he's like, oh, no, I don't know. I already tested for it. And it's just, those are reminders sometimes that I live in a completely different world. That's just existing in this same space, but at a different vibration, because these guys think that shit is real, and they're asking themselves, oh, you get tested for it? It's like, I just look at people like that and say, poor motherfuckers. But again, we figured this out yesterday. I shouldn't feel bad for them, because I don't think they're aware of their situation. Being robots, they don't have any, So I'm feeling bad for them is only hurting you, So, but it's just funny to hear people have that conversation, because you're looking at them talk and you're like, oh, they seem like normal. Like, you kind of relate to them, like, oh, these people, they seem like real people. And then you start talking about COVID, say, oh, they're robot people. They're fucking pod people, It's just funny. It's funny. But, yeah, that footage is fucking horrifying. Like, they're arresting him, and the woman that's talking to him is like a bitchy school teacher. Like, she's talking to him like he's a kid that got in trouble. Well, we've heard you've been posting some comments on Facebook. Some not nice things. Why am I making it Australian? It's British, but she was talking to him like a fussy British teacher would talk to a young boy. And then you got her sidekick, who is definitely subservient to her, which is this very weak-looking dude who looks just very non-threatening. She bosses him around, tells him what to do. But yeah, I mean, a human being that was forced to do that would be like, look, they sent us here, blah, blah, blah. There would be, you should feel ashamed of yourself. This is Orwell 84 bullshit. I know Orwell is like alt right now. Everything people don't like is all right. Fuck you, we need war. But they're there, like, she's talking to him like, you've been a really bad boy. She didn't say that, but she says that. Not literally, but every fucking thing. Why do we have women police, by the way? Like, whose idea was it to be like, yeah, I want a female, the giver of life and the nurturer of life, to be a bullet sponge in some fucking ghetto somewhere. That's shameful. That's shameful. But anyway, we do have female cops, and this one it's just terrifying. You're in big trouble, mister. You've made some comments on Facebook. Some not very nice comments. He's like, so now I'm going to jail for it. Yeah, we're arresting you now. It's like, I can't even, like, it's hard to think about, because, like, I can't believe it. Now, is this stage? Yeah, of course. But we're going to act like it's a real thing. But even though it is all fake, they want us to think that this is possible. And the reason they want us to think this is so we don't, say naughty things. You know, they want to control language. They don't want people like me talking about this shit. So they show us someone actually being arrested in their house by a dumb broad on a power trip, you know, and it's supposed to make people like me be like, oh shit, I better not say something. The same reason why, you know, they fake sued Alex Jones for the school thing, right? To scare people and to not say anything. And they're so stupid with their shit. Like, they're like children sometimes. So they couldn't just sue him for a normal amount of money. It had to be like billions of dollars. They sued Alex Jones. We're going to sue Alex Jones for 20 billion. You might as well say 11 fucking trillion. He's their guy anyway. Like, he's their asset. They're really not suing him because there really are no families. You know, this whole thing, you know, it's all fake. But they want to scare people. And I've seen it too before, like on the boards, like the feds on the boards. Like, they'll be talking about something. And they'll say, yeah, you don't want to end up like Alex Jones. You know, it's like, no, you know, no one, I don't think anyone those guys are worried about is not going to fall for that. You know what I mean? Like, the only people that would be scared by that and fall for that are the people you already control. You know? People like me know instantly when you look, it's like, well, because everything is, right? It all is. It's all a thing to try to control your intent, your emotions, to move you in the direction they want you to move into, like cattle, like an animal, you know? It's how it is. It's a nice little thing here. I feel like I should throw a coin in it. I always do. I usually throw coins. I don't do these OCD type things like I used to. But I like to do the wish. That's the water with the coin. But yeah, everyone should kind of look at that. It's fucking frightening, man. It's frightening. It's like, it's chilling. I mean, even though, in my opinion, the whole thing is a stage, it's the message they're trying to send. They're really saying their shit. They're trying to let the citizens know that if you say something naughty we don't like, we're going to come to your house and pull you out of it. This shit would never have fucking flown really in any other time. I mean, you know what I mean? I like this. Well, they softened society up to the point where people are afraid of their own shadow. You know, they got us controlled pretty good. And I think when they saw the response to the Cove thing, lockdowns, and they said everybody's got to be in tonight at this time, and most people in the world did it, probably I would guess 95%, you know, and then the other 5% of legends like myself, you just laughed, you know, and fucked out. But we happy few. But most people did it. It was almost like a test to see how much control they had over their cattle, over their tools, their system tools. You know? I mean, they know they have control over it, but I think it was a test to see how many of their system tools had gone rogue, you know, or were no longer in their control. And yeah, they were so happy with the results that I mentioned before. There was like a radio silence for like a week and a half, where they didn't give any messages or instruction because they were probably shitting themselves laughing, like, oh boy. And then it just opened up a whole lot of possibilities of other stuff they can do, because it was pretty extreme to tell someone go in the house and you just have to stay there, and everybody did it. Oh man, they were pissing themselves laughing. And I think that's why you're seeing stuff like, now listen little Bobby, you're in trouble, yeah? You said something on Facebook, yeah? Well now we've got to take you in. You're being arrested for some comments you made in the Facebook. Like that has begot this, you know? I don't know. It's pretty fucked up, you know? It's like, this whole thing can't go on much longer. It shouldn't. I mean, it all has to come down anyway. All of this has to come down. So on the one hand, yeah, it's annoying to see and nightmarish, dystopia style. But in the same way, like good, you know, acceleration. Just put the foot on the gas and let's just fucking fast forward through the rest of this shit show. Because it has to happen. Like if something or someone or some event came along to save the day and reverse all this, you wouldn't want that either. That's just putting off the inevitable. We don't want to be saved from this. We want to get out of here and be done with this. Instead of having our power sucked. Getting tired of being a sheep / battery cattle fucking energy source. Alright, I'll be out in a little while. Probably pick up. Hey, look at this guy over here. Let's go see how he's doing. Hey, buddy. Wow, he's a big one. This guy here, he's the cock of the walk. Hey, old man. How's it going? There you go, bud. Don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.